Hey, it's Chris. What are you talking about today? Well, I always go back to when I see stuff being talked about, why are you talking about it and why should it be interesting to me? Well, you know what? This is my channel. This is what I want to talk about. And that's what we're doing today. What we're doing is I'm talking to you about stuff that I am truly interested in. Like my 10 hot. Not the 10 that are on the HoTnEsS, not the 10 that are making waves this month, not the 10 that publishers are throwing out there or paying BoardGameGeek to advertise to get higher on the clicks or whatever screwy algorithm that they use in the first place, right? You know what I'm talking about. But the 10 that you go, Chris, like, you're passionate about board games. What are the ones you're really freaking interested in, right? And, you know, again, let's limit it because we don't want to talk about games 6 months from now. We can do that, but there's hardly any knowledge about stuff that's coming out 6 months from now. But what's coming out also near so that you can be aware of it. And again, not to, you know, overhype things, but just like, okay, I am really interested in this and I want to talk about it. And I want to make it known because some of this stuff is known. Some of these are going to be big games that you have heard of. Some of them are going to be games that you've never heard of. And if you're like me, I love perusing BoardGameGeek geek lists sometimes, or Reddit lists that people put out. Again, not because I'm trolling them or because I like to hate on people that don't like the same games that I love, right? But because every once in a while you read something or you get piqued by a picture of a game that you go, huh, you know how many games I've discovered like that? Tons. Like, that's how I got into abstracts, folks. Abstracts, GIP series, awesome, freaking sweet. We're not going to talk about Matrix because it doesn't have a release date until like towards the end of the year. So that one's not on this, but more stuff that's coming sooner. Let's go. And to be clear, this was a harder list to make because I'm trying to not do things 3, 4, 5 months from now. So what's on the top of this list? Well, spoilers, in case this video does come out, which it shouldn't, before my top 10 of 2023, Summoner Wars 2, second edition, essentially, is getting more content. Well, I mean, right? Of course it's getting more content, Chris. But from what people are saying online right now, the people who play it online as opposed to physical like me, these 2 new expansion decks that are coming out this month, oh yeah, they're good. And to be clear, those expansions, the Forged Faction deck, where you have a summoner or an inventor who is going to be using a summoning stone to construct a warband of technological marvels. So one person summoning a bunch of robots, folks. That sounds cool. New powers and abilities. Build your devices on the field itself and upgrade them. Oh, that sounds pretty freaking sweet. Because I love this game. And the other one, Deepwood Grok, right? Deepwood Grok, what the heck is that? Waterlogged forest creatures. Swamp things, if you will. Maneuverability, strength, or poison. Love being like the secret assassin poison in these games. Like, that's my other, like, the Shadow Elves faction. Big fan of those as well. So Plaid Hat has an absolute trouncing game on their hands. And if they continue to put out such high quality content for this game, you know, you should pick up a copy if you're anything like me of interest from that side of things. The other one, and this one's going a little further out, Faraway is coming over. I've talked about this one previously as one of the top retail games overall of the year, and Pandasaurus is bringing this one. Now, I got a little suckered in, and I'm probably spending more than I needed to, but I have this one pre-ordered, and it's not coming out till March. But at the time of me, airing this video, it's probably only going to be about a month away, so it's not too far out in the future, right? And to be clear, I actually tried to get this one sooner, but there's only like French edition, even though it's like mostly language independent. You have sort of a 8-card row in front of you, and these regions that you're exploring, you get victory points by fulfilling conditions and playing them in certain orders, picking a new card up, simultaneous play, and priority system as a max. Now, Pandasaurus is putting it out, and they sent out emails pre-ordering it, and I got suckered in. Because if you order it from some other online retailer, it's going to be about $18. I'm paying like 24 plus shipping. And I'm getting little meeples with it. I don't know. It's probably not a good deal for me, but I'm going for it because I've read the comments, I've read the reviews, I've looked at the mechanics, and I'm going to try it, and I think it's really going to be fun. Is it going to be fun? Probably not. I have a horrible track record at retail in general, buying things, and as opposed to trading for them. I do much better with my trades, weirdly enough. And so that's going to be the other thing that's really on my HoTnEsS, just as a light card tableau-driven style of game. And Pandasaurus, again, is a hit or miss for me. I really like some of their stuff. See That Time You Killed Me, see The Loop, although The Loop, I got it, not the Pandasaurus versions, but we'll count it anyway. And then, you know, I've had a few misses. I haven't been interested, or I didn't necessarily see the interest in getting Skate Summer. And then one or two of the others just haven't really shot off the charts for me either. So I just kind of go back and forth with them. I like the idea of them, but I haven't always found a huge success in that regard. And let's go back to number 3 here, and that's my Chase the Dragon, and that's Unmatched Sun's Origin. You're getting your 2 new samurai with your Unmatched. And for some reason, again, like I said in my don't get it or don't buy it at retail video, that's, you know, what I tell you to do, because I don't really know if I'm going to like these two. I like the idea. You know me, I've mentioned several times on the channel, many times actually, if you're a longtime subscriber, that I have a sucker spot, I'm a blind spot for Japanese games. And so the theme as a whole for me is one of my blind spots that I have a hard time resisting. And even with this setting, yeah, I mean, I really like Tales to Amaze. From that aspect of things, I would love to be able to port it into Tales to Amaze. I have not yet found, though, and that's the reason I call it Chase of the Dragon, is that there is one character or a couple characters that I really love. I've not found yet a combination of mechanics behind one of these characters that I was really super interested in. My son really likes a couple of the characters from Hell's Kitchen. I hate them. And I've played a few of the Legends 2 version and one or two of the ones from Tales to Amaze, and nothing has really gripped me, right? Like the Mythic Mystery factions, like the Summoner Wars factions I just mentioned. And so I'm kind of crossing my fingers hoping this, but I hate buying stuff hoping that one of these is going to, because again, I also wish there was some cross compatibility. I wish there was some way to port it over into Tales to Amaze on the boss side of things. Give me more bosses. Allow me to port these in as a minion or two. That is what I really desire, because even then the ones I don't like, I can still utilize. And that's the big problem I have with this, and that's why I have mixed feelings about it as a whole. Then, I mean, we got to talk about it because it's, you know, HoTnEsS, it's making waves, it's talking about it. I have a copy of the original I have barely ever scratched the surface of, and that's Wyrmspan. I traded in a math trade months ago, probably like 4 or 5 months ago, for a copy of Wyrmspan with 2 of the expansions. But it's Wyrmspan, it's dragons, right? Who wants to play birds when you can play dragons? Let's be honest here. That is really what we're going for. Now there's some different mechanics. They've optimized things. They've changed things around. All of the big names have put out their videos when the embargo lifted near the end of the month in January here. And so you have some opinions, you have some thoughts. But ultimately, more wide retail. Again, you know, like I said, sort of with my being sort of slightly facetious video of Expeditions, it's why I don't pre-order at retail, right? Because I've been burned more often than not. And again, not because they're bad games, folks. I don't think it's a bad game. But is it going to be a game that replaces something else for you? Is it going to be a game that you're going to want to play over something else? Is it going to replace you? Is it going to replace Wyrmspan for you in the first place? Especially if the expansions that modify and mitigate some of those things that you already had issues with as a whole. Or is it going to replace it? And that's really the issue. If this replaces Wyrmspan for you, what do you do with your Wyrmspan collection? Because then you're going to be like Everdell, and you're going to be trying to sell Everdell on the secondary market for cheap because other people have already bought it in better bundles. So that is the question with Wyrmspan, and that is the question with Wyrmspan as a whole. So we'll see. I'm going to try and trade for a copy because, again, like I said, with Faraway, my track record with pre-ordering is not good as a whole. So I've made my peace with that, and I'd like to think that I'm getting better from that aspect, but we'll see. The other one that was also on the HoTnEsS video from the news video at the end of January is Bloodstones. Bloodstones from Wallace Designs. It was a pretty penny over on GameFound when it funded, but I looked at it as sort of a more accessible, lighter style, domino-based route. And I said, I can get that played easier. I just couldn't justify the price point at this point. But now it's, you know, actually getting some reviews out there because I said, okay, let's see what people say afterwards, and let's see, because I can always maybe try and get it that way. A la trading, like I just mentioned, right? And I'm really intrigued to see. A couple different maps, a couple different factions, you know, rewards you for not turtling and being aggressive in a manner of strategery that I don't think is quite out there, with a domino effect, right? A Wallace game, a Martin Wallace game. So those are really intriguing combinations of words there that I just said, that if you're not a board gamer, it, like, might as well be talking hieroglyphics or abbreviations across the board, right? So that's just got me intrigued as a whole, and I want to see what it can do, and I'd like to see how I think of it, not just in theory, but on the table in front of me. But ultimately, again, a little harder to get to the table because you're talking, you know, probably potentially more than 2-player count to really get the full optimization feel of it. So, and that's tricky sometimes nowadays. Let's be completely transparent here. The next one actually is going to be coming to crowdfunding, I believe towards the end of February, if I remember correctly. And this is from Thundergriff Games. And this is going to be Etherstone, an evolving card game, faction leader dependent. So you're going to be utilizing a drafting card dice based system with asymmetric abilities to be essentially the last one standing in one of a couple different ways. Either while the active player has no cards left in the threat deck, or you run out of victory point tokens that have been assigned, and then you see who has the most in an attacking, summoning, as well as, well, conquering sort of thing, and the ability to knock out someone else's leader to get additional bonus points, but also not getting knocked out because your leader revives. So Thunderglyph Games, I'm really excited to see as a 60-minute or under game that plays 2 to 4 head-to-head style of this, right? We were just talking about Summoner Wars and Unmatched. This is my style of things, especially card-driven. So I am super hyped. I applied to their program to see if I could get a prototype copy to show you and talk about for the crowdfunding campaign. If not, well, I'm still going to be super hyped for covering it and checking it out in more detail when it actually launches. So yeah, super interested, checking a lot of boxes for me as a whole there. What else is on my HoTnEsS? What else am I looking at right now besides losing my voice in the middle of this video? Well, you know what? I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that the Simon Dune War for Arrakis, you know, oh man, is that thing tempting me? Now, the other thing I have to say on this is a little mini rant in here, you know, not like Chris actually rants during his videos, right? Everybody's trying to make like 150% of profit on this game. Like, no longer is a $25 or $50 profit enough, right? And that's not just from a retailer side of things. The retailers are selling like the $160 pledge level for like nearly $300, anywhere from like $275 to $300. And even the base pledge is, you know, which was 110, they're selling for at least 160. So you're making 50% profit on the base pledge. And, you know, it's insulting to offer $200 or $225 for a $160 pledge level to people nowadays too. So, you know, I get it, scalping, I get it, you know, at the same time, you know, whatever too. I had someone that was trying to get me to buy. And I think they realized what the price was at retail. And so all of a sudden they're like, hey, guess what? I'll do it because you know what? You're going to pay taxes on the retail side of things. And I'm not going to charge you taxes, but it's through BoardGameGeek. But don't worry, I'm going to do friends and family so you won't get. And I was like, no. I'm not doing friends and family. I don't care if you've got 100 trade ratings on BoardGameGeek, folks. I'm not getting burned. I've been burned on there. I've been burned on eBay by people with reputations. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening. I'm not doing it. And then he's like, well, finally, you know, came back to me out of desperation. It felt like that it was, okay, you know, I'll do it just regular goods and services. And I'm like, no, man, I'm sorry. Like, it's still going to cost me more that way. And you know what? If I can't get it closer to the actual pledge level, I'm just going to pass on it too. I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on my ability to play. I think it's going to be easier to get to the table, allegedly, apparently, maybe, than the predecessor, you know, War of the Ring. But you know what? Pass. I'm not FOMOing extra price on the retail side of things. Like, I'll pay a slight premium. I'm not paying extra above and beyond. Same thing. The other thing that I had my eye on it during crowdfunding, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. You know, the Wallace Designs Bloodstones. I have that thing on my wish list. I got it subscribed on BoardGameGeek. I got the prices when the shops go up for sale. And you know what? People want for this $100 game, for this $110 game-ish, whatever it was on crowdfunding. Again, people want like $180 to $200 for it. And I'm like, look, man, that's an awesome looking game. I think I'd, you know, from an asymmetric domino faction root style bang 'em up, I think I'd love it. I'm not paying almost 100% markup because it's in between print runs, folks. Like, you want to charge an extra $20 or $30 or something for, you know, crowdfunding tax because you backed it and now people want it. Sure, man. Sure. I'm not paying a nearly 100% markup. I don't care if it's out of stock. I don't care if it's out of print. I'm just not doing it. I actually, you know, patience pays off. I have on my way to me at the time of me filming this, a copy of one of my Grail games that I've been looking to get over the past 2 years, right? Now, unfortunately, it's not my top Grail game, which is the Wiz War 8th edition Malefic Curses expansion. I've missed that twice now. But I managed to snag me a copy of Imperium, the Contention for freaking cheap, $40. So you don't have to pay an arm and a leg necessarily. It's patience, folks. It's patience and a little bit of dedication. And you know what? At the same time, if it doesn't fork work out, it doesn't work out. It doesn't. Oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to play? No. It's cash burning a hole in my pocket. I got to get the dopamine hit. That's all that is. Thankfully, I have a little bit of enough self-restraint to not acquiesce to this. But you know what? Shout out for all you that are in my same seat, right? You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So those are the other things that are on my hot list. And again, another one that's on my radar in the next month or two, I won't lie.
Star Wars Unlimited. I've had that thing, you know, a booster box of Star Wars Unlimited sitting in my Game Nerds cart for literally 2 weeks. I just can't pull the trigger. I just can't. I would love, this is absolutely a love to desire this game. I think it's going to be fantastic, but I'm never going to get it played. And I hate chasing the packs, but I just love the art. And I'm never going to be able to build a deck apart from people pre-building and me just ripping decks off of the internet. But I still just can't get it out of my head, right? Can't get it out of my head. My kids are all about that. Star Wars, the deck building game, they are just all in on that. When my wife and I played that recently, they are just like eyes glued to it like you wouldn't believe, right? Because we watched the Star Wars, you know, good thing, introducing the 3-year-old to episodes 4, 5, and 6, right? Third child, folks. If you have a third child, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you only have 2, you're not there yet, but you're feeling me. And so that's there, and I just can't not get it out of my head, if that made any not sense from not a perspective of not someone who is confused at this point in the video. I'm leaving that in because that's what you get, second tier YouTuber. And then the other one that I just can't get out of my head too, as another game that I don't play enough, can't get enough played, just have no desire to whip out sometimes, and that's Marvel Champions, right? Age of freaking Apocalypse is coming out in the next month or so. Why does everyone love Age of Apocalypse? It's just freaking Age of Apocalypse, right? Weird stuff, crazy stuff. This was before all the weird, like, alternate timelines, dimensions, you know, multiverses, right? This was before a lot of that. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And they just did cool things with characters in unexpected ways. And they shifted the paradigm of what you were used to seeing in an X-Men style thing. And people still have nostalgia for it. And I'm one of those people. I hate to say it. Like, I was the kid who snuck in my brother's room, my older brother's room, who is 6.5 years older than I am, and snuck in and read those comic books when I wasn't supposed to. Boom. There you go. That's why I'm so interested. And that's why, again, I can't get that one out of my head, because of all the boxed expansions, this is by far and away my most anticipated, although Mutant Genesis and that are probably about hand in hand even, depending on what happens. Apparently, though, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are going to be nasty in this game. It's going to be like super difficult is what it looks like from the preview standpoint. Anyway, that's all I got with that one. So we'll leave that one alone and we'll just go from there. The only last thing up that I'm kind of sort of dabbling in, kind of wondering about, kind of been tempted by as well, is the recently delivered expansions for Chronicles of Drunagor, right? I just don't know. I don't have enough play at the base game to know whether or not I'm going to like this game, or whether or not it's going to stand up, or whether or not I can even get it played in the first place with all the other stuff. Frosthaven, Aeon Trespass, Odyssey, Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor, anything in that realm, anything of my recently delivered ISS Vanguard and Mythic Battles Ragnarok. Like, I just don't know if and so I just can't pull the trigger on that one. It's tempting. You know, again, I'll say this again, CGS, great games. Really looking forward up to, 2 weeks from now at the time of me filming this, Dante's Inferno. I think it's going to be fabulous, but it's too much stuff. It's too much price. I freaking hate the easy pay. I hate the easy pay. Easy pay. Multiple installments. I think that is a horrible business practice for crowdfunding. And I think it's a FOMO trap. It's a gambling trap. It's just a debt trap, essentially. And all of those things just make me super nervous. And I don't think it's good for a consumer, right? Like, super good, from a marketing standpoint. But just like Launch Boom and Thrive Threat or whatever, these are marketing crowdfunding experts. I ran across a random GameFound page today when I was surfing over in GameFound with one of the new projects that had just had a preview page launch. And they got, these comments in the comment section, these random spam comments. Like, here's my Instagram, here's my, email, and here's my marketing ploy to get you to buy into our services. And it's got some random Instagram pics on the profile that are like, before and after it didn't fund, it's got $20 funding, and after it's got $60,000. Well, I mean, who knows if that's like an actual campaign that just you took a picture of right at the beginning and the end, or if it was like something that was not funded, completely ended the campaign and then actually funded. Like, transparency there is not there. And again, Devin, we'll do some consulting. We'll just, go into the side business that way. I'll make, 10 times as much than I do on this channel doing crowdfunding consulting at this point. So, Devin, we need to talk about that, but that's all I got. That's where my head's at. That's what I want to see. And that's where, my money might be spent and hopefully not spent, because the other thing at the time of me filming this, Simon's Song of Fire and Ice Tactics is, I'm trepidatious. You guys let me know in the comment section down below. That dragon looks freaking sweet though, doesn't it? Doesn't it though? Is it going to be as good as people want, or is it going to be like Masmora Arcadia Quest compatibility, right? Like, you hope it's going to be complete, but who knows with Simon at this point, right? Like, there'll probably be a whole separate upgrade pack that you're going to have to pay for to cross compatible, just nickel and dime you. I don't know. But that game is also on my radar of things I want to back, but not things that are going to end up in my collection anytime before, like 2026. Because, with CMON right now, they're like way behind on a few of these projects. I still don't have Marvel United Multiverse, which is my most anticipated arriving game this year. And whoo boy, the last thing I need to spend is $160 on a freaking dragon miniature to sit in this man cave of a never get exposed to light and collecting dust side of things, right? Am I right? Shout out to the comment section down below. That's all I got. My interest lists, my most anticipated that I want to get soon, and why I'm not getting them at the same time. So I need to get me a copy of Onitama. We'll end the video with that. Onitama Sensei's Path, the expansion. Again, why can't I pull the trigger on a $20 game and a $15 expansion? It's a game I just can't get on the secondary market either. Like, no one's selling Onitama as an abstract, move around your pieces, take out the other person's. Come on, hit me up, Onitama haters. I want to get in on some of that. That's all I got. Stay classy. Have a great freaking day. Play something fun. Play something fun. Don't play stuff that you don't enjoy. Don't play stuff that you think is going to be good. Play something you freaking love. See you around. Subscribe if you want. Hit that thumb button. Make me go viral one of these times.